My bad, everybody. My internet just crapped out. Okay.
Plenty of other companies like if
Alright,
you're
my bad,
trying
y'all. My
to appeal,
internet crapped out.
if you're trying to appeal to these larger Europe and Western American populations, why are you only going after Japanese developers?
I think
That's my
that
point. Why not diversify yourself?
I don't really
Okay,
think
go ahead.
I don't really think personally, like I said, I don't really think that it matters because Nintendo sells their games on a global basis. A lot of their games sell better here in America. So, in my opinion, I think that they're bringing out games that they think that will sell here in America. They're bringing those game out, like they're bringing those games out, this
Okay,
fall. I
okay
mean,
hold on, guys. Pause. Can y'all recap what you guys were talking about while I was gone for
All
everybody in the
right.
stream?
I told him to list all the collaboration games, right?
Okay.
Like, Bayonetta, the Sonic game, Shin Megami Tensei game.
Hmm.
And I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me because Iwata said US and Europe have larger populations. The market potential for those markets is much bigger than the Japanese markets. So going upon that, my question is, why is Iwata only investing in Japanese-centric games and developers and not in European and Western American developers as well?
Okay, got
They
you.
have collaborations, but they're only collaborating in Japan. They're saying close off indoors. If you want to appeal to Europe and America and things like that, why not make collaborations with big name European and big name Western American developers as well, and not
Okay.
just strictly Japanese?
And what were you saying, Francis?
and I was just saying that basically the games that they're bringing out, they sell on a global market. I don't think Nintendo sees it as, oh, well, it's a Japanese developer, so they're appealing to it's Japanese centric. I think that they're trying to sell their games in America. So what if the Japanese developer is making the game? I mean, I think Sony, American developer, they made The Last of Us, and that game sold pretty good in Japan. Donkey Kong Country, that's made by Retro. That game sells okay in Japan. So I mean, it's vice versa. You make a game, and that game can appeal to American players. I think that the games that they're bringing out are going to appeal to the collaborations that are going to appeal to American players. I really honestly think that. I mean, could
Yes,
they
I'm saying.
do like could they do more as far as getting like more American developers? They tried. They tried with EA, and look, EA freaking oh god, EA's whack. Look at what they did. So I mean, like,
They're clearly not trying hard enough if they can't get one collaboration with a European or American. You can't. You're telling me they can't get one?
I'm
Not
saying
one?
that I'm not sure if that's even on their radar. I'm not sure if they feel that. I'm not sure if they feel that they have to collaborate with an American, you know, an American publisher or American developer to sell their games. I'm not sure if they have to. I think they can just make a game and it can sell more in America. You know what I'm saying? They can tweak the game to do things to where Americans can like it more. I think it's more about that. And a perfect example of that is Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem has never been big here in America. Nobody's ever liked it that much. It's been very niche. But what they did is they tweaked the game experience to where Americans will like it more. So adding the casual mode, adding DLC, adding things that Americans will like, all of a sudden the game is a hit. You know what I'm saying?
Fire Emblem has always been Fire Emblem, though. It just got popular because they never released it because we never got Thrashia 776 and all that stuff until Melee came out.
Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem, Dragon Sword or whatever on the DS. That game only sold 250,000 units. I think globally, or it was bad. I mean, I know in America, there was an interview actually. They said if you guys don't make a game that's like popular in America, we're the Fire Emblem series might be done in America. So they were under a lot of pressure to make a game that Americans are going to buy, and they tweaked the game to where Americans will like the game. And I think that's what they need to do. They need to tweak certain things with some of their games to where Americans will pick it up. And
So you feel that they've taken, effective enough steps to appeal more to the Western audience?
I think they've done so with the franchises that need it. Yeah. Other than that, their franchises already sell. Smash Bros. That sells here in America. I mean, like Monster Hunter did really good in America. I mean,
Yeah.
they stuff.
Do you think they should make any Western collaborations or any new Western games to try to push it even further?
I think they should. They should maybe if they can, maybe get if they can do something if it's feasible. Okay. If not, then let guys like Ubisoft bring out Watch Dogs. You know what I'm saying? Do a good job of hyping that up. Try to do a better job of marketing the Western games they do have on the system. They can also do that too, because we also have to remember there are Western games coming out for the system. Nintendo can definitely do a better job with marketing. I mean, if that's one thing that you can harp on is marketing the games that they do have coming out for the system, the Western games. So I mean, like all the Wii U owners need to go out and buy Watch Dogs. You know what I'm saying? That game's gonna be awesome.
That is a good point. Sitting on mountains of money and their marketing is completely trash.
They messed up with I completely agree with you. They messed up with their marketing, and they're like, "Oh crap, we need to stop." And now they're retooling their marketing now, and they're going to have a new marketing campaign. They started the marketing campaign in Japan, which is actually, it's good. It's much better than the marketing campaign in America. Yeah. They're retooling the marketing campaign, and they're going to bring out a new one. But yeah, they had to scrap all those commercials because they were horrible. So yeah, Sony did the same thing. Sony messed up their marketing at the beginning with the room and the baby. You guys remember that commercial?
Yeah, family compensated for their actions, baby.
Nintendo needs to get Marcus PSP to start advertising the Wii U.
Oh my god.
So I mean, so yeah, Nintendo messed up. I completely agree with you there, BLACKB0ND. They messed up the marketing, but they're retooling it. Don't worry, there's going to be plenty of marketing coming up soon.
I just think that they shouldn't remain exclusive to Japanese collaborations, that they should try to collaborate with other types of regions and see what that could lead to. Who knows what could happen. Do you remember what happened the last time? I mean, look what happened. Retro Studios, look what that collaboration has brought. That's an American-based developer. Look what the collaboration with Argonaut back in the day brought. That brought us Star Fox. You've seen the history of collaborations with European and American developers, so why not try to expand it and do it more?
I mean, okay, you just mentioned Retro. They put out Donkey Kong Country. They have another game coming out, so that's another American developer. I mean, they own Retro, but
yeah.
Well, what about Next Level Games? They have Luigi's Mansion. That was a collaboration they put out. That game has been very successful. Not only that, but Next Level Games is hiring a bunch of people right now, so they're probably going to do a Wii U game. So
So this is all more reasons, because we've seen what they can do, and we've seen the success that has happened when they collaborate with developers outside Japan, so they should do it and do it more. But they're not doing it.
Okay, but then you also, here's the thing though, what would be the style of the game? Because you can collaborate with an American developer, but Luigi's Mansion and Donkey Kong, those are all games that sell in Japan a lot too. So what style of game? Would it be an American developer with a Japanese style game like Luigi's Mansion or like Donkey Kong, or would it be an American style game?
Who knows? Star Fox is an American style game. That did super well. Metroid Prime's an American style game. That did super well.
Wait, is Star Fox? I mean, I think that's universal appeal, Star Fox.
Games can be Japanese, American, whatever region have universal appeal, but I'm saying Metroid Prime, people were like, oh my god, it's a first-person shooter, it's not a 2D side-scroller, I'm going to hate it, and that game was God when it came out. I can't stress enough how good that game was. That's what I'm saying. When you mix different elements, you can make and create tons of unique things and opportunities. But if they're not going to put themselves out there and try to invest in something different and new, I mean, listen, I got no problem with them investing in Japanese, but it's kind of like the same old, that you got to try something new. Nobody ever, listen, when Metroid Prime was originally coming out, I cursed that game to high heaven and hell. There was no way I thought that a Metroid Prime first-person shooter adventure would ever be good, and I got crapped on by Nintendo.
So wait a minute. So Wonderful 101 doesn't look something new?
It does, but like I said, it's Japan. They should try to branch out and get more new stuff.
So it has to be. So what you're saying is that it has to be more. First of all, it can't be a Japanese developer. Is that what you're saying?
No, it can be. My point is they've only remained exclusive to Japanese collaborations when they've had a proven track record of what European and American collaborations can bring. Rareware was European as well, remember.
Just name Next Level Games, and it's not exclusive. It's just a lot.
Rareware was European, remember, Shokyo, and remember they basically was a 1-2 punch carrying the N64 with Nintendo back in the day.
Retro's taking the spot of Rare.
I don't think Retro is ever going to be as good as Rare was on N64.
Yeah, Rare put out a lot of games.
Well, that's off topic.
And
that's just an opinion. That's through in.
Well, Retro, as far as game quality goes, Retro's game quality is just as good as Rare's game quality. That's all.
They've made Metroid and Donkey Kong. What else have they made?
They need more quality.
They've contributed to a Mario Kart, made Metroid, and made 2 Donkey Kongs. And that was in a whole generation. Look at all the games Rare put out in the span of N64, from Donkey Kongs to Racings to Jet Force Gemini to GoldenEye to Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooies. Come on.
Everything that Rare made was, or everything that Retro made was quality. Rare put out more game. I guess, yeah, you're right. Rare
more games and more quality, yeah. So Retro's
quality, or Retro's quality is just as high. Their games rank like average.
Off topic, guys.
You're right, they are quality, but they're lesser in number. They're nowhere near what Rare was, and it sickens me to see what Rare is now.
Yeah, and you were praising Microsoft earlier. Look what they did with Rare.
They really didn't do anything with Rare because Nintendo sold that company and kept all the talent like smart people.
Ron, let me correct you. Nintendo, the company was bought. It was a second party developer.
Yeah.
It was bought. It was it was bought from them. Nintendo didn't have full investment in the company.
They still had a majority stake. They had to sell their stake.
They didn't have majority stake, actually. They didn't have majority stake. They did not have majority stake in the company. If they did, then they would have kept them. The people that actually owned the majority stake, they wanted to get rid of they wanted to sell them. Nintendo wasn't willing to purchase them for full. Microsoft came in and gave I forgot who.
$340 million or something.
Insane amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Nintendo just said, "Oh, we'll just replace you with Retro." You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And they went off to Microsoft, and Microsoft did nothing with all that. You know, well, they made Kinect Sports, I guess.
And Avatar accessories.
Avatar. Whatever happened to off topic? Damn, what the hell is that? Milo or something?
We all knew that was vaporware from the moment we saw it.
Peter Pony, baby. Yeah, that that did nothing. That did nothing else. Was there anything else you wanted to say, BLACKB0ND? Because after talking with you,
yeah, this has been going on for an hour 30.
Yeah, that's really. Yeah, Nintendo had a 49% stake in the Rare company, man.
That's not majority.
But that's the biggest stake.
I'm not sure. Are you sure they had a?
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, that's not the whole thing. I mean, I'm not. And if somebody wants to come and give the people who actually own Rare so much money, and Nintendo's not willing to give them that much money. And remember, back when they bought them, that was not the Wii days where they had all this money. That was off the N64, or was it the GameCube? That was off of the N64/GameCube or whatever. So it wasn't like they were raking in, dough with their home consoles and their portables. They were only really raking in a ton of money from their portables. So it wasn't like Nintendo had the money just to say, okay, yeah, we're going to match Microsoft's offer.
Yeah, it said on September 24, 2002, Microsoft paid pretty much close to $400 million to own 100% of the company. So they bought out. Nintendo sold their stock to them. They just said, fuck it.
They sold the rest of them because they were going to get bought out anyway. That's how stocks work. They were going to get. There's no way Nintendo could have stopped that. If some company wants to come and pay that much money for that, they're going to get it. Nintendo's not going to match that offer. I mean, they would be crazy to match that. No way. That's so much money for a developer that's not even. They're not
it's
worth.
Pretty much dead weight at that point.
I'm just saying. Look, whether or not they've got a company. They have a company, Retro, that can fit that mold. Whether they brought the amount of games that Rare did or not is not that. What I'm saying is they replaced a quality company with another quality company. Plus they have next level games, which is also not quite as good as those two, but probably a notch underneath. So they do have that. I do agree with you that they do maybe need to go out and find some other American company. I'm not even sure if they do have another. I do agree that they should find more, but we'll see. We'll see what they have. But like I said, Nintendo likes to sell their games globally. You see how, the reason why I personally think the Xbox One's not going to win is because they're not going to sell anything in Japan. They're not going to sell.
They don't need to sell in Japan to be profitable, man. Look at the 360. The original Xbox beat out the GameCube, didn't sell in Japan.
Yeah, but that's because of the PS2 dominated Japan, so that detracted from GameCube's sales. You know what I'm saying? It's a different situation now. Now, Microsoft isn't going to win a console generation because right now, the PS3 sold, it's going on 11 million or 12 million units in Japan. The Wii sold 12 million units. If you don't have that extra bump of 10 or 12 million units, it's going to be hard to win a generation. It's going to be hard to beat the PS4, you know what I'm saying, or the Wii U if you can't sell 10 million units in an area. I mean, come on, that's a significant number. For as much as Americans like to downplay the significance of Japan, because Americans do, because they think that they know everything, Japan is very important. 10, 12 million units is not...
but it's still the least important. Like Iwata said, Europe and America are bigger. If you want to say Japan is important, yeah, I agree, but the reverse is also true. Not selling 10 million in Japan, okay, but then you're also not going to sell even more than that if you don't have presence in the other regions.
The reverse is not the reverse. Nintendo's going to have a huge presence in America because their first-party games always sell to Americans. They sell a lot here in America. Galaxy sells more here, is more popular here in America than it is.
Yeah, because we're bigger. That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying.
Well, what I'm saying is that they have the games for America to appeal to the American fan base, which would be their first-party games. Plus, they have the games to appeal to the Japanese fan base. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft does not have those games to appeal to the Japanese fan base, so it's going to be tough for them to win a generation. And they, you know, for as much as people like to say, oh, Microsoft did well, they barely beat the GameCube in sales. It wasn't like they smoked them.
The fact that they even beat the GameCube in sales as a newcomer is an embarrassment in itself.
No, it's
yes,
not.
Yes.
When the PS2 dominated Japan and took all the sales there, Nintendo took back, did a better job in Japan the following. But that's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, that the GameCube faltered, because just didn't get anything going.
You know, up until the Wii, Nintendo consoles have been pretty much jack shit in Japan. The Sega Saturn sold more in Japan than the N64.
But what about the Super Nintendo?
I said it. It's since the Super Nintendo.
Since the Super Nintendo, the N64 had also. The N64 had also.
N64 was awful in Japan. The Sega Saturn sold more than it. The GameCube didn't do well in Japan.
That's what, and I think somewhat that they, with the N64, they tried to appeal to the Americans, like the graphics. Look at this, what we have, and it backfired in their face for trying to appeal to, like, with graphics. You know what I'm saying?
They got killed basically because they chose a cart over a CD and cost and development. Squaresoft, when they were good, yeah. Squaresoft, when they were good, we were going to make Final Fantasy VII for N64, but then they said, bump that, we hate carts. Once they moved over to Sony, pretty much every third party jumped over with it.
Okay, we're getting off into this completely different...
Are we done now? I think, is there anything
it's time to end the debate.
Is there anything left to say?
Yeah, we could end the debate, but...
But as your question about why I make these videos was, like I said, like somebody made a comment, what's your brother do, Shokyo? Anti-what?
Anti-Xbox news.
Call this anti-Nintendo news, where we speak with our wallet until those motherfuckers shape up.
But a lot of it, here's the funny thing, Bond, a lot of the stuff you say is just ridiculously, like, left field, man. It's like...
It is not ridiculous.
So is this post-debate talk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let me refresh then.